Okay. This is Kimberly and Miranda with Tipsy Mystics. Here we are. We're doing a video for you all. And Miranda.
Yes, ma'am.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking a tiny bottle of bubbles because...
A tiny bottle of bubbles.
Yeah.
A little champagne bottle? Yeah. Oh, how cute.
There we go.
How many of those are you going to drink?
Well, I opened my second bottle. So
So it's one glass, really, right?
Well, each one is like one glass, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you're on your second glass because we have
Well, I just poured some of the second bottle into my first glass. So I'm probably
So
not
it's really just one drink. It's really just one long drink.
It's a never-ending drink, just like this fucking ascension.
Oh my God, never ending. Never ending. Okay.
So cheers, everyone. How about you, my friend?
I am drinking with my monkey mug. I am drinking English breakfast tea with Bailey's Irish cream.
And wow, a little upper, a little downer.
A little upper, tea. It's decaffeinated tea because I gave up on caffeine. Here, let me have a drink just to make sure it's okay.
Yeah.
Stacy, I see you there. Hello. I hope you're drinking too. And Michael, hello. Welcome. And John, thank you from Ireland. It's got to be really ridiculously late there. Thank you for being here. So, normally we do our audio, but John sent us the best message ever about doing video now that Spotify allows it. So we're doing a video. Don't know if anyone's going to hang out with us, but Stacy's drinking Bailey's too. But welcome. And we have one more person to acknowledge, and then guess who's taking over this podcast? That would be Miranda. I'm giving her full MC duties today. So Rhythm, thank you for visiting, and love and gratitude to you. And let's all cheers together. This is a very serious monkey mug. And here's to goodbye 2022.
Yes. What the fuck off 2022.
Okay, so talk to me.
That. All right.
I'm way ahead of you on the drink.
Gotta lubricate. All right. So, when Kimberly says she gave me the duties, she gave me her list.
I didn't even give you a chance to tell you. What do you want? You start with you. Start with you.
No, let's start with the list. Let's start with the list and see what comes up. All right. Number 1 on the list. How ancient Egypt is still expanding our consciousness. Now, first of all, you got to describe what you mean by ancient, because we all know time isn't real. So
time isn't real. So I'm working on my master's thesis, and it's on ancient Egypt. And the more I research ancient Egypt, the more of a mindfuck it truly is. So ancient Egypt, literally, let's go ahead and just say it right out for posterity's sake. Kind of like when Atlantis got done with themselves and blew themselves up. Whoever was left over, they started Egypt. So basically there was no, building up of knowledge. It just poof, popped out of nowhere. So let's just start with that.
So whoever made it out with a homemade raft.
Yes.
Floated their way.
Yeah. Through the flood, from the flood.
Yeah, from the flood. With maybe an animal of each sex. Not the unicorns, of course.
No, the unicorns were on there. Dude, the unicorns were on there. That's why they're still around.
All right.
I'm just saying. And Sasquatch, too. He was there. So basically, all that said and done, these people were insane in basically creating art that had so much knowledge imparted in it that you actually have to take it apart. Yeah, you have to take it apart like a puzzle. And so with that said, dwell on it too much, but I really want to say that here's my prediction. Where are we at the end of 2022? Here's my prediction. Egyptologists suck, first of all. They're all about history, and they all wear those bow ties, and they just totally are like, nope, this is the way it is. This is history. Nothing's changing. There's nothing spiritual about this. They were primitive idiots with weird superstitions. I'm like, dude, you need to get the stick out of your ass, and you need to just chill and talk to some people who are actually doing the research. Okay.
That's funny. I have to say, I only have known one Egyptologist in my life. And she was a very, very badass chick.
Okay, well, I like her. She's definitely in the minority.
But she was probably not someone that they elevated. So there are probably some very badass, cool Egyptologists out there. But the establishment,
they don't get published.
Has not been publishing them. Right. It's not been telling their stories.
Correct.
So, yeah.
So there's plenty of people who are finally getting published. Stacy and I talk about this all the time. Graham Hancock does a lot of good stuff with that, in that he has followed done a lot of the research, and realized that these people were badass, and they knew mathematics. They knew the Pythagoreanism. I can say that at the beginning of our podcast, but probably not at the end. Which basically explains life in the first 9 numbers. It's pretty badass. Okay, so all that said and done, I'm pretty 100% sure that was me working with my non-physical team, who's very excited that I'm actually going back into this. When I was 17, I got the Eye of Horus tattooed on my hip and didn't tell anybody. Yes, Wayne, thank you. Graham Hancock is badass. Didn't tell anybody, but I didn't actually know why. So now we're back to Egypt, and Atlantis and all of the fantastic artifacts. A lot of them are still buried, because there was kind of a little okay, so I'm trying to think of that. What was that gumball? No. What was that candy with the caramel inside? You had them at the movies. The malt inside with the chocolate on the outside. They're little balls, malt balls.
Yeah.
Anyway,
like a Whopper?
Like a Whopper, exactly. So if you imagine a Whopper where the inside is shaky and the chocolate can move around, that's what the Earth did, right?
Oh, okay.
And so part of where all these people were living, it kind of got underneath the Earth, and it froze. And so all of these things are actually now underneath the ice caps. So we can bitch about global warming, but as far as artifacts are concerned,
say more. So it moved, right? Like the crust,
the whole
of the
Earth crust. Yeah,
and the Atlantean or Egyptian crap underneath moved.
Right. Well, they can't find Atlantis, right? So they call it an error right now, because they can't actually find a land mass. Well, the land mass is actually frozen right now, right? And so it's under how many miles of ice. So when that starts to melt, and I'm sorry, all the global warming, climate change people, I'm really sorry for you, but I'd rather have the artifacts, and we'll figure the rest out.
Hey, Mama Earth gonna do what Mama Earth
is gonna do what Mama Earth is gonna do. So
you can't fight it.
Right. So that's what I have to say about Egypt. Now, Rhythm, you asked me a question, what's my favorite Egyptian deity and why? And it would definitely be Hathor. And I'll tell you why. Because Hathor, A, was a badass, and B, in the Golden Age, she started a mystery school that taught people how to bilocate. So basically, Hathor lived both a human life, and she also lived a life in the Sirius star system. And she learned how to go through her heart chakra and to go back and forth between the two consciously. Now, the good news is I learned how to do it. And so I created, coming soon, a meditation that will guide people on how to do that by going through your heart chakra. And yeah, so that's why Hathor is a badass, is because she basically buried all that information for us to find. And if you see her in Egypt, you'll see her as a sky cow. So she'll have a cow's face or a cow's horns or a cow's ears. And that was because she decided to show people on Earth, you don't have to just look like a human, right? You don't have to just look like a human. You can, Isis created wings, right? And
I would go with wings.
You would just do wings?
Looking like a cow.
It's a sky cow. It's a sky cow.
Does it have wings?
No, it doesn't have wings. Just the horns and the ears.
Is it a disembodied head?
No, she could make herself look like a regular cow.
Okay.
But she taught people how to bilocate. Now, when Hathor died, she didn't just and they found a place to bury her. She created a Stargate, and she took her friends with her.
Oh, fuck yeah. Now
right?
Now we're talking.
She took her friends with her. They all walked through the Stargate onto the Sirius star system.
Well, this is amazing.
Right? So this is the shit we're going to uncover soon. And that's what makes it so much fun.
So can your meditation take us through a Stargate to like a kick-ass star party?
Give me time, woman. Let's get people bilocating first. All right? Let's get them bilocating first. So I want people to understand that your cells are shared by all the other yous. Uh-oh, here we have a friend. She's going down. Your cells are shared with all the other yous. So basically I'm going to show you how to go through your DNA and go into the shared electrons that another one of you is sharing and go back out and exist in that life. And you can go back and forth.
All right.
So stay tuned for that, friends.
Okay. All right. We're going to pause now and divert to a what the fuck off. Right?
Okay, do it. Yes.
So a what the fuck off that you have given me is a what the fuck off to regrets and past memories that are long forgotten until they're not. So what's your story?
You have to talk too, you know.
I will.
Okay. So what I've realized lately, this past, I'd say last month, is that all of the things that I thought I was done with as far as closure, the past, because when you're starting to live in that moment, you don't really have those flashbacks that you used to have, right? And so during the day, it's focusing on the moment, it's enjoying the blue sky, et cetera, et cetera. So when I go to sleep, that's when the shit gets me, right? All of the memories that I haven't quite neutralized yet. So if you have something that you haven't quite felt all the feelings about yet, you have something that you haven't neutralized yet, you can look at it and you still feel something like pain or sadness or regret, anything like that. If you don't do it in your conscious moments, then the dream world is going to do it for you.
Huh. So you've been having some crazy dreams lately?
Oh, I woke up this morning crying over my horse that I had to sell and never wanted to, right? And so what I got to go back and look at him now, and he's happy and he's doing great and, boo-hoo. But then I woke up realizing, okay, it was really painful to have to get rid of this horse, but he's doing really well, right? And so I think it kind of buffered a lot of that pain that I would have felt if I'd had to do it
in the dream state.
Yeah, because I actually got to see him, right? In the physical state, it's not so easy to just go see him.
Right, so it gave you actual closure.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I didn't really fuck up that guy's life.
I thought I did, right? So a lot of the things that you think are mistakes, et cetera, are really just planned, right? Planned for I call them lessons, you call them practice, training, whatever. Planned with an agreement of this is how I'm going to learn. So now what about you? I'm going to drink.
Yeah, I'm going to say what the fuck off to self-sacrifice.
Oh, Sock Monkey agrees 100%.
I thought I had said that many, many, many times. But as you were saying, it just is another layer.
Yeah.
Of seeing it. So a lot of my year has been feeling just pure unadulterated rage. Just so much anger, so much rage, so much being pissed off at other people. Which are ultimately me, right? I agreed to that.
They're all you.
I said, yes, I'll do this for you instead of doing what I want, right? Because I want you to love me. I want you to accept me. I want you to think I'm a good person. I want you to be happy. I don't want to, empath and feel your negative emotions, right? So, like, let's just all get along to get along, right? And you just stuff it down, and then eventually it comes out. And it comes out in just the tiniest moment. And I'm in full-blown anger, crying, anxiety of, like, I can't do that for you.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen you angry. I've known you for years.
I'm always angry. I'm lying.
Oh, great.
I'm just stuffing it down. Because at the end of the day, and I let it out kindly amongst myself and no one else, because it's actually none of your business, right? Like, the people that I'm angry at, I'm not actually angry at them. It's really none of their business, right? It's my anger. I allowed it. I accepted it. The anger is at me, and so I have to forgive myself. But this is happening all over. Like, you've seen people losing their absolute shit.
Yeah.
Out in the world. Losing their absolute shit.
Triggered.
Yeah. I lost my absolute shit, but I did that alone. Okay. You're welcome. So I encourage everyone else to do it. But, like, so the self-sacrifice came out as a lot of anger. And I think I'm done.
Okay, here's a question for you. I don't know if this has anything to do with it because I haven't seen.
I have no idea who that is.
Star Wars. Padme Amidala. So was she?
Do I regret looking like her? I don't have any regrets. Now Kim might have some regrets.
I have a million regrets. I have regrets enough for both of us.
I don't know who that is, and I don't have any regrets about it.
Okay. Well, if he gives us more information as to what her qualities are, we'll pull that up.
Yeah.
So what's next?
I'm a Trekkie. Okay, so let's.
Oh yeah, if you're gonna do anything, I agree with that because Star Wars was all about Orion, right? Which, by the way, Egypt is 100% Orion. If you look at the way the three major pyramids are set up, you'll see that they actually are a mirror of Orion's belt in the year 10,500 BC, which is like 8,000 years before they said the pyramids were actually built. So, Egyptologists out of there.
Okay. What? You lived on Orion. You had a few lifetimes on Orion. Tell me about this belt.
Orion was a shit show.
What was the fashion like over there?
It was tunics. Your favorite. So a lot.
So they had like a belt for the tunic?
Yes, they did.
Did it have?
Belts, but they
was
tied.
It like black with studs?
Were tied. There were belts that tied, not like the kind with buckles, right?
Okay, so this wasn't like a stud moment.
No.
Okay.
No. But Orion itself was a shit show. I've had many, 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 many lives there. And as many people may know or may not know, that's where the Star Wars saga was pulled from, was basically the history of Orion. So talk about oppression. It made Earth look like Disneyland all the time. Like it was so much oppression that people actually often just gave up. So if you're giving up on Earth, you're done on Orion. They gave up. And so what happened was Orion did finally reach the light. And they did that through the Black League, which is an ironic name, right? The Black League was the ones that worked underground to basically revolt. So there was basically this whole underground thing going on. And we're pretty badass here on Earth. I mean, we're considered, I've said this many times before, but we're considered, rebels in the fact that we've decided to come here and live under these polaric conditions.
Polaric conditions.
Polaric.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a word, but
live in duality.
Lived in duality.
This extreme.
Okay. This is a very extreme duality. Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to ask before you go on, how much is duality are you experiencing now? Now that you've gone through a lot of, if just in case there's some people here who may not know, this is Miranda's first life on Earth.
Yeah. Got a first timer here.
She's the first life on Earth.
So I would say I am at the stage of like, I see it, but I don't. Great. What a fun thing to use to create. Like,
okay. Good.
I don't need it. I'm good.
So you're basically
like I'm satiated. Let's just say that. I am satiated with duality.
Okay. So you kind of understand that it's people playing parts, right? The bad guy's playing his bad guy part. The good people playing
what I understand is the
good people part.
That they are just one thing, right? There is no good and bad. It's one energy that based on your, we'll say frequency, if that's what you want to use, you experience it this way or that way based on your beliefs, your frequency, what you want to experience.
Right.
But it's
through your thoughts.
It's one thing. They both exist there. So if you're experiencing lack, you're experiencing abundance at the same time. If you are experiencing good, bad is also there, right? I am all things. You are all things.
I am all things. I like that. That's a good t-shirt.
And it's cool. And it's fine. All things are valid and worthy of existence. I can be Nelson Mandela, worthy of that experience, and I can be Jeffrey Dahmer, worthy of having that experience. Like, they're not actually different things. They're just different experiences. So,
which reminds me, I remember Neil Donald Walsh, and I worked with him on a book, and in one of his conversations with God, he had this moment where he got really pissed off at God, who said even Hitler went to heaven. Right? And he was like, how could Hitler go to heaven? How could, someone who killed that many people go to heaven? And just like you said, it's an experience, right? The people that were involved in that wanted that experience. Awful and painful as it was, every single person learned from it, including Hitler.
Speaking of, I just read the other day that there is a 97-year-old woman in Germany who was just convicted of being the accomplice to murder of 10,000 people.
She got away with it for all that time?
And attempted murder for 5. Which I thought was silly. But she was 90, I think she was 96 when she was tried. Now she's 97. 97-year-old woman tried in juvenile court because she was 18 and 19 at the time.
Oh, so is she going to get life in prison or what?
It's some silly, like, bullshit. She doesn't have to go to prison or anything. I forget exactly what it is. It's some like symbolic thing that like she was tried, she was convicted, but it's like her entire life she, you know, got away with it. And maybe she did wonderful, beautiful things. We all were.
We all Hitler in a past
wonderful,
life, you know?
beautiful things in her life. We don't know what she did between 19 but she was just like a secretary. But they were like, oh, she didn't know. It's like, you didn't know the crematorium was going 24/7.
Yeah, how could you not know? I mean, I've been to the crematorium.
10,000 people.
Yeah.
And 5 attempted. 5 people got away. But
so that's Orion in a nutshell. So like the people like her, as an example, were not finished exploring that theme, right? Yet.
Yeah.
On Orion. And when Orion finally made it to the light, there were many, many, many souls who were like, yeah, I'm not done exploring that theme. So where's the next best place I can go to explore this theme? Well, here's Earth, right? And so a lot of us, including me, came to Earth. Now there's lots and lots of different phases of that. There's some people who just like to watch violent movies, right? Star Wars is a great example. Star Trek, if you're one of those people, you understand that the diversity actually pays off in the long run, right? And that should bring us to open contact.
Oh yeah, let's go there.
Let's go there. So
if you're a Bashar person,
a Bashar person, you know that Bashar is an actual entity who is living roughly 300 years in our future. He's channeled by Daryl Anka. You can see him on bashar.org. So he's not this non-physical thing like Abraham Hicks is, right? He's an actual being who lays down and connects to work with us as a contact specialist. So Bashar has been saying that 2023 is the very beginning of the opportunity for open contact, meaning that there's a percentage of the Earth's population who can handle it. And he specified that people over 200,000 cycles per second, their consciousness, 200,000 cycles per second. You can't measure that right now with our tools. So you got to ask him. I did ask him. I know what I am. But those people are the ones who will start.
Or when did you ask him?
I asked him when I had a private session with him. So,
but like, what year was that?
2015.
So that was a while ago.
I was 180 then.
Okay,
so I'm going to pretty much say I'm up there at this point because I've gone through it.
Hey, look at us.
But so those people are
the presence of a first contactor.
Exactly. So we're basically the ones who have dealt with most of our stuff enough to be able to be in physical contact with those with a higher frequency entity without freaking out. So I've already been in physical contact with higher frequency energies. I've run like a baby that just learned how to run, like scared shitless away from some of them because the frequency was so different from mine that I couldn't take it. That was years and years ago.
I remember one time you told me that they came in while you were folding laundry.
Oh my gosh, when was that? There's been so many, but yes. So, yeah, I mean, I've seen the tall grays the tall whites that are like 8.5 feet tall. Grumpy mofos too. Grumpy mofos. So, there's a wide range of extraterrestrials that we deal with, and his idea of open contact is those who are ready to start having private, personal contact before the rest of the population is, because there has to be sort of we have to prove to them that we can handle it, right? And I think it's pretty badass. I know that there are plenty who are much higher than me, and I know there are plenty who have regular interactions with them. Now I live in Hollywood, and so you never can tell. Like I've seen people walk down the street, I'm like, that is not a human. Not a human. A lot of people disappearing and showing up in front of me still on the sidewalk.
Well, I will say I've been preparing because I get these bath bombs, right? And they have a surprise inside. And I had always told, I tell any entity, a ghost, an ET, do not surprise me. Do not surprise me. You make an appointment. That is polite etiquette. I don't want no one showing up in my fucking hallway at 2 a.m. when I go to tinkle, okay? This is not going to happen. This is not the way it's going to be. You make an appointment, you show up, we'll be cool, right? Like, I don't care if it's a human. I don't care what it is. You just come out of nowhere like I'm going to be freaked out, okay?
Yeah.
If I fold my laundry, you just show up? No. I don't care what being you are, what form you come in. Not cool. Anyway, so I've always said, like, you don't get to surprise me. So I got these bath bombs, right? And it's called a galaxy bomb. And it's like, it's a surprise inside. And guess what the surprise was the first time I got it? It was a tiny alien. A little rubber alien.
Without an appointment, but it was okay, right?
And since I like this bath bomb, it smells really good. It's like amber. So I keep getting them. And so now I have on my bathroom windowsill about 8 tiny aliens doing some sort of fun activity, rollerblading on a pogo stick. One of them has a boomerang.
See,
so I have a window of open contact
you have
in
a
my
window
bathroom.
of open contact. Plus, I want to add something that Bashar talks about. Okay, so Bashar talks about one of the ways that you can get used to, this is good for you, get used to them coming to you is to make a printout of an alien head, a life-size one, and put it in your window.
Yeah.
So that you get used to seeing them. So you're close.
Yeah.
I mean, they're smaller. Right, you're close.
They're little. They're multicolored. I had a friend over, and she used my bathroom. She was like,
"That's badass."
What's with the aliens?
They're our future, man. They're our future.
Yeah, no, and they're just having fun, pogo sticking, rollerblading. I had no idea that this is what they were coming down for, but they are coming down to have a good time.
They are.
They're not coming down to like teach us wisdom.
No.
They're like, I'm going to Earth. Earth is a good time. I'm going to get me a pogo stick. I'm going to like eat a slice of cake. You know, they're going to do it up.
I agree with you 100%. And the more people that can think that way, the better we are. Right now, Hollywood's doing way better as far as showing good aliens and, you know, positive interactions and that sort of thing. We've talked about that a million times, but you're absolutely right. The more humor we have about it, the more fun we have about it, the easier it's going to be, and the easier it will be for our frequency to rise to that point where we're going to be.
I think it's
level.
Also really key and important to not need them. Like, they're not coming down here to give us technology, to teach us things, to whatever. They're coming down here to be our buds, to hang out. We're going to teach them just as much as they're going to teach us, probably more.
Well, because we have emotions that they don't have, right?
We experience things in completely different ways.
Yeah.
And
come have some fear with us, friends. Come on. Have some fear.
It's about feeling it. So what my team tells me all the time, they remind me, is that like this duality, like feeling, you know, the good stuff, right? Like joy feels so much deeper and broader and more colorful. Mm-hmm. Joy feels different when you've also experienced fear and anxiety and all the dense energies. It feels so much better. But you can't reach this, more ecstatic state unless you felt the contrast, right? It feels different. So they're going to come down, right? We're all empathic, and they get access to that. Like, we did the hard work, and they're just coming in like a fucking joyride. Like, oh, let me access this, which is
let
fine.
me
whatever,
piggyback the humans
Yeah,
and
yeah,
find
yeah.
out, you know, they did the work for us, but I get it. And one
Right.
of those things we were talking about with the regrets and all of the memories and stuff coming back. Oh, I might have just lost what I was going to say. First time all year, I think, that I lost what I was going to say. No, but one of those things was my team's telling me all of those awful things you went through, all of those really painful things you went through. Now is the time to say, F yeah, I learned from it, and now I can bounce back on that other side to that extent. Enjoy.
Yes, it's the pulling back, right, of the rubber band.
The rubber
How far
band.
back can I pull it, and then it like shoots you so far out. If you only go this far back, you're not going to get shot into, right? So it's this, you can feel deeper, you can feel the better stuff, right?
Yeah.
No one, and what my team says is no one's ever done it to this extent. No one's ever done it in one lifetime, right? Like in one human or whatever being lifetime, gone so far this way and so far the other at the same time. So we have absolutely no fucking clue what y'all are going to create with the energy that you're creating, with the joy that you're going to feel, with the excitement that you're going to feel. We have no idea because no one's ever had this experience before of being so deep. Yeah.
Yeah. So how deep have you gotten? Like, how low have you gotten since this is your first life? Like, I don't even know how to measure how low is low.
That's a great question. Like, I don't know how to answer it, but
have you ever gotten suicidal?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I think what I can say, and I didn't know at the time, was that I am incredibly empathic. Like, I had no idea, right? I'm the kind of empath that was like, someone told me they were empathic and this happens, like, damn, that sounds horrible. I just didn't know that they weren't my feelings.
Okay, so you thought they were all yours.
I thought they were mine, and they were, you know, my parents, and other people in my life, right? Like, that shared their, and boyfriends, whatever, that shared their feelings with me. So I felt those things. I felt very deep, like, depression and fear and all those things, but I didn't necessarily have the experiences, didn't have to have the actual physical experiences of that would create that, because I had people to share that with me. Like, I couldn't hold that experience in physical reality, but I could feel the feelings because somebody shared that with me, right?
Okay.
Like my mother or my father or other people that were close to me. So I felt it, but I can't assign it to, oh, I felt this experience. I had this experience that maybe you could experience, so you felt it from this. I just felt it because I'm in a body and I'm human and I can.
Yeah. Because you and I are so different in that you can actually get to, you can actually see, how do I say it? Let's come back to that. Theo sent us something. I want to put this up.
The extraterrestrials are so elitist right now.
Right. Let's put this one up, and we're going to talk about this. He says, I view the extraterrestrials as bullies to some extent because they chose to watch millions die preventable deaths instead of intervening. This is a gigantic subject, right?
It is, but we already talked about this, and it's like all of those experiences, right, of those preventable deaths, they chose to have those experiences.
Right. Those people that wanted to die had made an agreement to die. They wanted to be the people that died. Maybe to add numbers to this statement right here, like all of these people. Preventable doesn't necessarily mean a positive experience for a soul.
No, you have to be unconditional. They love us so much that they allow us.
Yes.
These people, everyone is like the source of all creation. Everyone has all of the power that's ever existed.
Yes.
And if you choose, as all the power that's ever existed, to have the experience of this kind of death, which is a valid, worthy, valuable experience to have, because we want to have all the experiences that could ever have. We want to feel all the feelings. We want to have all the thoughts. So, like, who the fuck are they to come down and stop us from having that?
And to intervene, right?
Yeah.
The whole word of
you?
intervening. They're not here to intervene. They're here to, a lot of them, I'm using them, are here to observe. What are these humans going to do with the circumstances that they're given? Right? Are they going to make decisions that benefit all? Are they going to make selfish decisions? Are they going to think of something no one else has thought about? Are they going to run away? Right? So all of those things basically are serving what we would call source, all that is, et cetera, right? As the Pleiadians said it so well, they said, all that is said, go out and live and bring all experiences back to me, right? And so basically, every single thing that you can think, you have every single opportunity to think and feel and do it. And then you're basically reporting it back to all who is constantly, consistently present in every single one of us. Conscious in every single one of us, all at the same time.
And it unconditionally allows us to be everything. So, like, criticism, judgment is creating limitations and conditions about how source can experience itself.
Yes. So I was listening to Paul Selig, who is another wonderful channel, and he said, as you expand as a human and you realize your divinity, you're actually you're not turning into God. What you're doing is you're turning into God as you.
Yes.
Right? So God is actually wearing the costume of you, and you're letting God come through, whether you call it source or the universe, whatever, come through and act through you with your costume on and your proclivities.
Yeah.
Right?
Your beliefs, your circumstances,
your talents,
all of those. I like to see it as a filter. You are the filter for source, right?
Yeah.
So I'm seeing things as me, but I have to know who I am, right?
Sorry.
Right? But
when does that happen?
Well, I tell you right now who you are. You are nothing.
You are not.
You are nothing.
Watch,
and you are allowed.
The video's going to go out now that she said that. Watch. Go ahead. Tell me. Tell me you are nothing.
I've been blinking the whole time. So, but you are nothing. But you are the filter of this now moment. Nothing else. This now moment, and you are allowed to be completely different in every now moment. The Miranda of 12 days ago is not the Miranda of today. I was just having this, I'll call it a conversation. this soliloquy from my team the other day. Like, you don't have to be the Miranda you were a month ago, right? I had a conversation with my boss a month ago, and now I feel completely different. And he was like, okay, so now this thing that you said was going to happen, like, how do you feel about it? And I was like, I feel completely different than I did a month ago. And they're like, you're allowed to feel that. You're allowed to feel completely different, right? Because you are this now moment. You are the filter of who you are in this now moment, not the filter of Miranda, right? Not the filter of Miranda over her entire life. Your purpose is not different. It's not the same every single day, every single year, over your entire lifetime, right? Like, you are source in this now moment, nothing else, right? So, like, you don't have to have this, like, purpose for a lifetime. You don't have to make choices and then be burdened by the choice that you made a year ago. You don't have to be burdened by the choice that you made
about karma?
A week ago.
What about karma?
That's just
talk to me about karma, because you make that choice, and then what happens? You have, there's consequences, right?
That's a storyline that we use to create. And that's a valid and worthy experience to have. The experience of karma, the experience of learning and growing, right? Of evolution. It's fun, but I know that I can hold the knowing that I'm in this storyline, and in this now moment, I'm creating from that storyline. I'm having an experience of the storyline, while also holding the knowing that, you know, it can be different a couple days from now. Now, when you get stuck in this attachment to the story, I am the story, I am the person in the story, right? I am this character, then you're limiting yourself, right? You can, I promise you, you can enjoy it just as much, probably more, by holding both understandings of who you are.
Okay, so I want to find out who you're going to bilocate to, like which other Miranda you're going to go to and see what that's like. Hopefully you're going to be doing that with us. Okay, so let's do one more thing on our list.
Okay. Do you know what you want, or do you want me
to pick?
I
have no clue because I gave them to you and I have no clue what's going on at this point. All right,
let's talk about science and spirituality, getting us to peace.
Science and spirituality. So, you know, it's a tiny bit back to Egypt where we're dealing with the science people who actually need physical empirical evidence to say something exists, right? And up until now, on my timeline at least, you had these people who were at this point where it was either you believed in science or you believed in spirituality. You didn't have both.
It was an either or.
It was an either or. Yes. And so now we're at that point, I think, where they're actually kind of getting together, right? I just signed up again for Gaia, because they have the best yoga classes ever. But they also have all these TV shows that I don't watch, but I'm seeing how they're actually finding, like the scientists actually are willing to listen. And so I think that one of the reasons that this is important is because that's one of the things that extraterrestrials were waiting for us to get to. That, okay, science isn't everything, but it is valid. Right? We have our five senses, and we were used to making reality based on what our five senses recognized. Right? That was what science was. If your five senses didn't see it, it didn't exist.
Yes, prove it.
Prove it. And now there's other people who are starting to say, okay, well, here, take your frickin' instruments and let me show you what happens when I put my hand over this thing and you measure it. I'll give you a quick example about Egypt, which is badass. They went into the king's chamber, and if you've ever heard of cymatics is when you make a tone over a sort of a drum where you've placed sand on it. So you're basically vibrating the drum with sound, with different frequencies. And when they did that, they covered this sarcophagus
because of the sand.
Because of the frequency. The frequency vibrates the sand, and the sand...
Right. I was just curious because the drum always makes sound.
Yes, but it's not really a drum. So here's a sarcophagus. It's basically just a big trough with no lid on it. And they spread plastic over it very tightly, and they put sand on it.
Okay.
And they ding it. They ding it like a singing bowl, right? Mm-hmm. And based on the different frequencies, the sand formed itself into specific designs. And what were the designs? They were hieroglyphics.
Ooh.
Right? So that's like right there. Science, spirituality, symbolism, all of those things together. And so the scientists are like, okay, well, here's my five senses. They're hearing it, they're seeing it, they're experiencing, they're touching it, and I fucking can't explain it. So that's what I wanted to say about that.
Yeah. Well, so the combining of science and spirituality is just symbolic of our integration of the divine masculine, divine feminine, yin yang, whatever you want to call it. Like the science is the masculine and spirituality is the feminine, right? I can't see it, I know it. And science is like, but if I know it, if I believe it enough, the proof will come, right? But the proof doesn't come before the knowing. They happen simultaneously.
Yes.
The I know it doesn't come before the proof. They happen simultaneously, right?
Yes.
Now we, for a while, needed one before the other. So that's why things happen really slowly, linear time.
Really slowly.
Because we needed that, we needed that idea that like, oh, I need to earn it. I need to work for it. I need this. There's cause, there's effect. They're not true. Everything happens simultaneously. So things are going to start to happen a lot faster, as we move into this Aquarian age next year. It's Aquarius is that aha moment, the genius, right? So all these things that were like the nuclear fusion that just happened a couple days ago, last week, I forget exactly when, but I read about people saying like, oh, but it's going to take decades before we actually know what to do with it. And it's like, no. There's going to be an aha moment, and it's because before it took us decades to get to this point where we can actually like shoot 900 lasers into each other or whatever to do it. But like, there's going to be that aha moment that's going to be like, oh shit, but we can do this really fast. We can do it this way. We can do it simply. We can do it cheaply, right? So like, this is where we're moving into, where time is totally fucking different.
I love time, or lack thereof. I love it. I could do without it forever. Calendars. What are calendars for you now? Speaking of that, what does a calendar look like?
I still love a calendar.
You still love a calendar?
I just love to put the things that are happening and like look forward to them.
Really? I have to put things on a calendar, or I will miss it. Not miss it, like not show up, but I need to have it out of my head. But as far as hours are concerned, no, they're gone. Minutes gone. Seconds, what? What the hell is a second?
Yeah.
Right?
Wow. Well,
okay, one more thing and we're done.
Yeah, speaking of hours, we're coming up.
I know, we're coming up on our hours. So
and I got to plug my computer in.
Okay, so we are, I'm going to put this up from Michael. He says, they say a tiny bit will power your house for 100 years and we will have it in 5 years. That's nuclear fission.
I don't know who they are, but like, fuck
they.
Yeah.
Mike's really good with they. He likes the they, but he actually reads news and that sort of thing. This is positive stuff. So good, because free energy is a thing that we're long overdue, and that is also a part of open contact, is when we start recognizing that we actually can take care of ourselves. We don't need an extraterrestrial
self-responsibility.
We don't need them to come down and show us this technology. We've done it on our own.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Well, access to all the wisdom.
We have access to all the wisdom. So I think that is good for this episode. And it was fun to do it live. We normally just do it in studio and,
In studio?
In
my living room.
In the living room. And now we're doing it on a... Oh, Miranda, likey the F word.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Fuck yes.
Fuck yeah. We are explicit. We're never going to stop being explicit. Sorry. That's who we are. John, thank you for showing up all the way from Ireland. My Irish cream was really good. Theo is Batman, who is
I just want to say before I die, let's have a fan-fucking-tastic, that's for you, John, 2023.
Yes. Let's have a great 2023, and we will see you all next year. And until next time,
cheers.
Cheers.